Hello and welcome. It's the Curious Pigeon here, and today we are looking at an old attraction from Chessington World of Adventures, Action Man Critical Mission, also known as Action Man Training HQ. So I hope you enjoy. Now, I love finding out about random attractions and things that are maybe a little bit lesser known or just generally not as talked about in terms of old memories. But when this was suggested in a comment, I was really intrigued and had to have a look. So, Action Man Critical Mission was a walk through children's attraction. Butchered the word children's, didn't I? Which operated from 1997. Now, I read in two different places a couple of different closing dates. So, I read an August closure in 2003, but I also read elsewhere that it closed in 2005. So, the early mid 2000s at the very least. Now, I have just gone back in time on Google Earth. As you can see on the screen, this is, well, it says 2003 here and here, so let's hope that's right. Now, you can see that there are the modern place marks on here for the Gruffalo, which obviously was Bubbleworks back in the early mid 2000s. And I've worked out where Action Man Training HQ or Action Man Critical Mission was. And it was here. So this little section here. So in 2000, it was renamed Action Man Training HQ, and it contained various climbing sections, obstacle course parts, and was likened to a little bit of a mild kid-friendly assault course. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. I couldn't find too much information going in depth about it though, except for some online forums where people shared what they could remember. So it did start with an indoor section, which I'm guessing maybe was here somewhere, because this looks like a bit of an entrance outside, and then you can see some sort of different little parts here. I don't know if this was part of it, maybe this little section. That certainly does look like part of the trail itself. To be fair, the indoor section could have been there rather than there, but I know that it was near the carousel according to the old map. So in the indoor section, you were given your mission briefing, which was to become an extreme agent and track down Dr. X. And apparently this indoor section was decorated with images of sort of turf Action Man style guys. And along the route, there were buttons you could press and clues to gather, which told you more about where Dr. X was. So year 2000, the name had changed to Action Man Training HQ. You can see the carousel was just there that we were looking at. The Black Buccaneer was here. So it's just this little section. You can see the Action Man logo. God, that brings back memories. And yeah, a bit of a mixed bag of reactions that I read online about what people thought about the attraction. They thought some people loved it and had some really happy memories of it. Other people have said it wasn't the most exciting thing. But each to their own. Now, if we just jump forward slightly, we'll have a look at the 2024 park map. Now, it was a bit tricky, actually, to try and work out where the attraction was, because this is slightly skew-if compared to the 2000s map that we just looked at. But you can see that vampires over here, and then you can see the swinging ship there. Now, this is roughly where it was. So you can see this is edging onto part of Land of the Dragons over here and World of Jumanji over there, which of course didn't exist at the time of Action Man. And it was located near the south entrance, which I want to say is what is now known as the Explorer entrance down here. So let's see if we have some more images for you. I found some interesting images and some information on themeuk.net. Now, if we go on to, blimey, look at that old leaflet, eh? If we go on to some of the, oh, there's Anton Deck. There we go. So new for 1997, we can see here Action Man Critical Mission, and he takes complete centre stage there. So you can also see here Action Man Critical Mission opening summer 1997. Are you an all-action adventurer? Now, I can't quite zoom in onto what that says up here, but yeah, this looks like an excerpt. I don't know if this was part of an actual pamphlet, leaflet. I don't know if it would be part of the map of the park, but it could have been, judging by this part here, maybe part of an old kids' magazine or something. What do you reckon? I wanted to show you here. So this is part of the course. There are very, very few images of this online. Now, this is a very nicely themed tunnel here. And then we've got the toxic swamp, which I don't know if you can quite work it out there, has a slightly green floor, and you can see it is literally just a stepping stone sort of trim trail, as we used to call it at primary school. You know, it says toxic swamp, some of the flooring's green. I mean, it's not the trickiest of things to try and work your way through, is it? I have given him a nice smiley face. This is an image of a young boy posing with this huge Action Man statue. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty good theming, actually. And from what I remember of Action Man toys, they've got the face really, really well there. So yeah, I've only just realised his hand is such that you can put your hand through as well and hold hands with him. But yeah, interesting Kodak box there. I don't really know why. I'm guessing they were sponsoring at the time. But yes, here is Giant Action Man. Now, in another part of the course, which sadly I don't have any images of, like I said, there was very little online, there was a jungle maze, which was essentially paths leading you through a wooded area. And there was also a snake pit where you crossed a rope bridge over some pretend snakes that squirted water, which I actually think sounds pretty cool. Then there was the ice zone, and sadly I couldn't find any images of that. But you had to make your way through whilst avoiding these giant ice spikes. I'm guessing they were probably soft, or I did think, and please do let me know in the comments if you remember, but it kind of makes me think of those, if you've ever been to a soft play centre and they have those, they almost look like punch bags that are sort of hanging down and you have to make your way through. I pictured maybe something like that potentially. And so I don't know if it's the same tunnel that I showed you just before, but there was a tunnel part that led you to an important point towards the end. Specifically, you had to choose the right path. So you had to choose the successful route. Now, the successful route led to the gift shop and allowed you to exit, and the wrong route meant you had to go round and crawl through the tunnel again. Now, I don't know if it was this particular tunnel because it doesn't look like you make much of a decision here. You seem to be able to just walk round. But who knows? Maybe you can tell me. So at the end, you had to open the right hatch and reveal Dr. X's face. So you would have mission success. And of course, there was the opportunity to take a photo with the sculpture of Action Man, as we've just seen. Now, from the few photos that there are, and from an adult perspective, having never been on it myself, it doesn't look like the most exciting thing in the world, the most exciting attraction. But I can imagine actually really enjoying it as a kid and getting into that sort of mode of just that fun of making your way through. I can imagine maybe after the first couple of times it would maybe lose its shine a little bit. But I do like the sound of the different parts, and it does certainly sound a lot of fun. It almost reminds me a bit of an escape room. You know, you have to look for the clues, you have to make your way through, you have to escape and sort of get to your end objective. And also, it reminds me a little bit of maybe a touch of Jungle Run, if anyone remembers that program, which I loved, would have loved to have gone on it. And also a little bit of, I don't know, slightly The Jungle. What's the name of it? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I could not think of that then. It just sort of feels a little bit of all of those things blended together. Now, online, like I said, some loved it, some not so bothered, but no one sounded like they hated it. Now, if you strip it back to the bare bones, it is essentially an adventure playground, but I love the idea that they gave it a purpose and made it a bit different, i.e., with the snakes that squirted water and the ice zone and everything else. And I just wish that I could find out more information. The only other thing I can potentially show you is this. There's no point even playing the video, but this is just an uh, old bit of 1997. Now, to me, this looks like the logo for Action Man, and that orange with the black writing on a slant saying mission control, knowing that it's a mission, and that really does look like Action Man font. So yeah, this is literally all I could find. I was hoping maybe there was a really old POV from the 90s and early 2000s, but probably a bit too pie in the sky there. So yeah, that's all I could find on this one. I thought maybe I'd be able to find a little bit more. If I ever find anything else out about this attraction in the future, of course, I will let you know. But there we have it. So thank you for joining me, having a look at the Action Man Training HQ, or Action Man Mission. What was it? Action Man Critical Mission. There you go. Hopefully, if I find anything else about it in the future, I'll let you know. And hopefully, you'll join me in the next one.